Alrighty, we are going to do division of functions. Hey, keep on. What are you doing? Come on. Do I need to take it? But before I can show you division of functions, we have to make sure you can factor. Factoring is something you did in your freshman year, Algebra 1, or whenever you took Algebra 1. So I want to start with this type of problem. X squared plus 3x minus 18. This is called a trinomial. And when you have a trinomial, then your only option for doing anything with it is to factor it. I'm going to show you how I teach factoring, which is how Ms. Cruz does it, and let's see if it looks familiar, okay? So I'm going to use the box method. We've already used the box method for multiplying. Now we're going to undo the multiplying in order to factor. In my box, the first term goes in the first box. The last term goes in the last box. And see how it's a negative 18? I'm going to go ahead and put negative 18. If it were positive, I would not put positive. Then I take the number that is here. What's the number in front of the x? 1 times negative 18 is negative 18. I always multiply the first one by the last one. Now, list some factors of 18. Don't worry about the negative just yet. What are factors of 18? 9 times 2. What else? 3 times 6. One more. 1 times 18. So far, so good? I need to pick a set of factors that when I either add or subtract them, I get 3. So which 2 will give me 3 when I add or subtract? 3 times 6. Because 6 minus 3 is 3. And it's positive, correct? So it needs to be positive 6 minus 3. It needs to be where the negative is on the smaller number. Questions so far? Okay, and this order doesn't matter. I could have put the negative 3x up here and the 6x down here. Doesn't matter. What matters is first term, first box, last term, last box. Now let's look across this first row. If I were going to factor something out, find the GCF, what do x squared and 6x have in common that I can divide out? What do they both have in common? The x. I can divide out an x from both of them, so I'll put that on the outside. And let's look at this bottom row. Negative 3x and negative 18. What are they both divisible by? Negative what?
3.
Negative 3. They are both divisible by a negative 3. And remember, I'm always going to look for the biggest factor, okay? GCF. Look at this first column. What are they both divisible by? An x. They both have an x. And in the last column, what are they both divisible by? 6. And because one is positive and one is negative, I'm just going to leave this positive. Does that make sense? See how down here they were both negative, and so I pulled out a negative, but not for this. So this kind of looks familiar. If I covered up this box and said it was empty, x times x is, and x times 6 is, right? And then negative 3 times x and negative 3 times 6. That's what we did the last couple of days. Now what I've done is I've pulled out what's actually on the outside. And in my first set of parentheses, I'm just going to take the one off the top, but it doesn't matter. I could have taken the side. What is on top here? An x and a 6. Positive. X plus 6. And what do I have going down the side? X minus 3. And I factored. Look familiar. Okay, maybe it have been a couple of years. So, questions? Let's do another one. X squared minus 7x plus 10. So I need to factor. I'm going to draw my box. Do you think you're always going to have to use your box? Maybe not. Maybe so. I work with some college kids who still use the box, and that's okay. Sometimes you get to a point where you don't. You do what works for you. Okay? First box, what goes in it?
X squared.
X squared. Last box?
10.
Yeah.
Negative 10, wait.
No, it's positive.
I thought you said you didn't put the positive. You would have put the positive.
I didn't. So since it's a positive 10 right here, I just put 10. Up here, it was a minus 18. So I brought the negative with it. Okay. So if it's a plus sign, I wouldn't put it. What am I multiplying? 1 times 10. What's 1 times 10?
10.
I need some factors of 10. What do you got?
5.
2 and 5, 1 and 10. So I'm looking for a set that will give me 7. 2 and 5, because if you add 2 plus 5, you get 7. So I'm going to put my 2x here and my 5x here. Now, before I do my dividing, everybody has the next thing on their classroom, okay? It's kind of a little cheat sheet. And it's this factoring signs chart. So it's on your classroom for you. If you have a trinomial that is something plus something plus something, they're all positives, both of your factors will be positive. If you have something minus something plus something, then you're going to have both negative. So what am I looking at right here?
The first one. Wait.
I have something minus something plus something. See how this last one's positive? So both your signs are going to be negative. Okay, and that is on your classroom for you so that you have it. So let's divide out. What can you take out of this first row? X. Second row. First column. Second column. It is a 2. Questions? Now, what did we say those signs were going to be?
Negative.
Both negative. So what is this going to say? X minus 2 times, go down the side, X minus 5. Okay, I want you to do this one on your own and then we'll check. Questions for me? X squared plus 11x plus 10. So I want you to work it and then we'll check.
Does it matter where the 2 factors go?
Nope. Yeah, babe. When you finish, check yours with mine. And let's see if there are any questions. So, but as long as you get the same factors, as long as you, nope, you could have put x plus 1 times x plus 10, and that's still the same exact answer. So questions for me here. Do I have any questions virtually? If you don't click on, I'm going to assume no. Okay, so we're feeling okay. Okay. Well, then let me just test the waters here. I want you to factor 4x squared minus 17x plus 4. Little different? A little bit. What's different about it? The 4x squared, right? All of our other examples had just had an x squared. This one now has a 4x squared. So I need to make sure I'm making or taking that into consideration. I'm noticing it. So what are you going to multiply? What do you multiply to figure out your factors? 4 times 4. You got to multiply this number by this number. So 4 times 4 is 16. Let's do some factors of 16. 1 and 16. 2 and 8. 4 and 4. 6 and 3 is 18. Let's go. All right. I'm looking for two factors that give me what? 17. 1 and 16. So again, the order of those don't matter, but if you'll put yours in the same boxes as me so that we do it the same. Does that make sense? And we can check easier. All right, questions? First row. What can you take out? The x. Second row. 4. Yes. First column. 4x. Second column.
4.
No, always something. But can you divide x by 4? So it's going to be 1. If you look at it and you think there's nothing, it's always a 1. Okay. Last sign is positive. So they are both going to be negatives. My factors are x minus 4 times 4x minus 1. Questions? Still doing okay? I have one last type that I want to show you. So this was just simply a review. How to factor using the box again, right? Because it's been a little bit. You probably didn't use it much in geometry, if at all. So the next one that I need you to look at is this. X squared minus 49. X squared minus 49. Now, does this one look strange? Yes, why? Doesn't have a middle term, right? It goes from an x squared to a constant. Everything else has had an x squared, an x, and then a constant. So this one's a little bit different. So we can think about it this way, okay? Don't try and work ahead of me because you're not going to do what you think. So it is x squared. I'm missing a middle term, so I'm going to hold its spot with a 0x and then minus 49. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. All right, so this is what it would look like if I put a middle term in there. So if your heart desires to do a lot of work, you rewrite it and then you use the box. But I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't do that. I would listen to what Ms. Rodriguez is about to say. because it's super easy. Okay, so do you understand that this would be the same thing as this? If I wanted to overwork, I'd use this and put it in the box. But none of us want to overwork, so here's what we're going to do. This is clearly what kind of problem? Subtraction. What's another word for subtraction? Minus. What else? Take away. What else? Difference, right? Difference. If I'm going to find the difference of something, I am subtracting. This is the difference of two somethings. So there's two terms. It's the difference of two somethings. Now, those somethings are very specific. What do you have to multiply together to get an x squared? An x. X times x is x squared, correct? What do you have to multiply together to get a 49? A 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. These are perfect squares. That means, let me see if I can write this over here. 7 squared, that means to do 7 times 7, yes? 7 times 7 is 49. What is 6 squared? 36. What is 2 squared? 4, right? These are perfect squares. Means you're multiplying by the same number. What I have here is the difference of 2 squares. And it's very special and it's very easy, but you have to be able to identify it. If you can't identify it, it doesn't help that it's so easy. So here's all I want you to do. Open 2 sets of parentheses, please. And I want to know this. What is the square root of x? Square root of x squared. X. That goes in the first blank. What is the square root of 49? 7. That goes in the next blanks. You get one of each, positive and negative, or negative and positive. And it's done. It's factored. It's that easy. I'm not going to go through the hard work of putting it in the box when I can just remember the rules. So tell me this. I'm going to give you x squared minus 16. X squared minus 16. Can I factor that? Is it a difference? Difference means subtraction.
Yes.
Are they both perfect squares? Yes. Open 2 sets of parentheses. And let's take care of it. What is the square root of x squared? That's the first blank. Square root of 16? Signs?
Minus and addition.
One of each. Very good. Questions for me? All right. So we had to do all of that in order to make sure that you had the knowledge to do division.
I can't even remember how to do long division.
Trust me, we're going to be all right. So I'm going to tell you that f of x is equal to 3x plus 2. And g of x is equal to 2x minus 4. What we are going to do today is we are going to find f divided by g of x. So based on what we've learned, we know that this really means to do f of x divided by g of x, right? I mean, based on everything we've already done, even though we haven't done division yet, we know that something like this means to take the f of x and divide it by the g of x. So what is f of x? 3x plus 2. That's going to go on top. Remember my rule about parentheses? Put everything in parentheses. F of x over, what's g of x? 2x minus 4. Yeah. All right. I put these in parentheses because they're separated by an addition sign and a subtraction sign. And when I'm looking at this top function, f of x, I look to see, can I factor that at all?
Yes,
What can you factor out?
the 2 and 4, right?
Only look at the top.
Oh, the 2.
So are they both divisible by 2? No.
Never mind.
So I can't factor anything out. Look at the bottom. Can you factor anything out?
Yes.
A 2 can come out of that one. Okay. So on the top, it stays the same. And on the bottom, I can factor out a 2. So I'm taking the GCF out. So 2x divided by 2 is, what is 2x divided by 2? X. What is negative 4 divided by 2?
2.
Now I look to see, do I have anything in common that I can cancel out?
The x's.
Okay, so if you go through and you mark these out, that's illegal. In order to cancel top and bottom, the parentheses have to match identically.
I'm sorry, how did you get dividing by 2?
So 2x and negative 4 both have a factor of 2.
Oh, okay.
So I just divided it out of each term. So as I look, does this term match this term? 3x plus 2, you have to have a 3x plus 2 on the bottom to cancel it out. So I'm done. That's it. If you can't take the whole thing out, if it doesn't match exactly, then you can't take it out. And it stays exactly the same. So let's not change our functions, okay? And let's do this. I want you to do f divided by g of 3. So do I know what f divided by g is?
Wouldn't it be 3 divided by 3?
Well, isn't it this? This is f divided by g. F of x divided by g of x. So let's write it down. F of x divided by g, it's 3x plus 2 divided by 2x minus 4. That is f of x divided by g of x, correct? Now, what does this 3 mean to do?
Multiply the 3.
Put it in for the x, right? So let's go ahead and rewrite. And now everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with a 3. So this is going to be 3 times x. What's x?
9. No.
3 times 3 plus 2. That's the top. Everyone know where I got all the numbers? Okay. On the bottom, what am I going to get? 2 times
3.
minus 4. So far, so good? Simplify. 3 times 3 is
9.
plus 2.
11.
2 times 3 is minus 4. And you're done. Questions for me? Okay, let's try a different one. F of x is x squared minus 9. G of x is x plus 3. I want you to find f divided by g of x. So that means I'm going to do f of x divided by g of x, right? Okay, let's fill it in. What is f of x? X squared minus 9. And I want to divide that by g of x, and g of x is x plus 3. Questions there? Okay. Do you see anything that looks interesting?
With the
The
extra
three and the 9.
Okay, but those are both in parentheses, right?
Mhm.
So you can't do that. It's illegal. What else do you see? You see that x squared? Minus 9? What would I call that? What kind of operation is it? Right here. When I look at x squared minus 9, what kind of problem is that? Subtraction. What's another word for subtraction? Difference. Do I have the difference of two squares?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. So open two parentheses and factor that for me. X squared minus 9 changes to
Plus 9.
x plus 3, x minus 3 over x plus 3.
So can you?
No, you can't do nothing to it. You leave it right.
You can, because do parentheses match? Do you see this x plus 3 in parentheses? And do you see this x plus 3 in parentheses?
So the answer would just be x minus 3.
So this is a legal cancellation, whereas the other stuff isn't. This is legal, and that leaves you with x minus 3. So this function, this division problem gives you x minus 3. How are we doing? Okay, f of x is going to equal x squared minus 16. G of x is going to equal x plus 4. I want you to find f divided by g of x. So that means f of x divided by g of x. Set it up for me. Do you see what I see? Do you see this top? What do you call that? Difference of, are they two squares? Yes, they are. So what is the top going to factor into? X plus 4, x minus 4. And so that goes over x plus 4, right? Cancellation. Is it legal? Yes. I can cancel out my x plus 4. So what is the answer to this division problem? X minus 4. Not too bad, right? Okay, one more and I promise we'll stop, okay? All right, let's see what you can do. F of x is going to be equal to 3x squared minus 11x minus 4. G of x is going to be equal to 3x plus 1. I want you to find f divided by g of x. Set it up. What are we going to have to do on this one?
A lot.
What do you need to do to this top?
Well, you can't.
I can't do the difference of two squares. So what are you going to have to do?
Put in 5.
Put it in the box. So factor it. What do I multiply?
Uh,
3 times 4. 3 times 4 is good. Negative 12. Give me factors of 12. 1 times 12. 6 times 2. 3 times 4. Which one am I going to use? What do I want to get in the middle?
Oh, the one in 12.
Because I want to get 11 in the middle. So I'm going to use 1 and 12. So I've got 1x and 12x. Now I should probably give it one of them a sign. Which one? Which one needs to be negative?
12.
The negative 12. Because the bigger number needs to carry it because I want to get a negative 11. Start dividing. What goes on top? X minus 4 times 3x plus 1. Would you agree? Questions? What goes on bottom? 3x plus 1. Can you cancel anything out?
Yes.
Yes.
On the right.
What can you cancel out?
3x plus 1.
3x plus 1. So what is it equal to?
X minus 4.
X minus 4. Awesome. Let me stop this recording.
Just